Hospitals are supposed to be safe places, places where people go to get better. But when a hospital is abandoned, all that changes. The walls remember the pain, the halls remember the fear, and sometimes those memories never leave. Tonight, I'm going to tell you about 3 abandoned hospitals from around the world. Each one has a story. Each one is real, or at least that's what the people who went inside claim. Turn off your lights, put on your headphones, and get ready. Because what you're about to hear might make you think twice about ever stepping into an empty hospital. Story 1. The Whispers from Ward 9, United States. In 2012, a group of urban explorers decided to check out an abandoned hospital in upstate New York. It had been closed since the 1980s after a fire destroyed part of the building. Locals warned them not to go inside. They said the hospital was haunted, but of course, nobody listens to the locals. The group entered through a broken side door. The place smelled of mold and rust. Broken tiles crunched under their feet. The walls were covered in graffiti, old notices, and peeling paint. Most of the rooms were empty, just old gurneys and scattered medical charts. When they reached Ward 9, everything changed. The air felt colder. The whispers started, faint, almost too quiet to hear. At first, they thought it was the wind or the building settling. But the whispers grew louder. More distinct point, one of the explorers noticed something on the wall. Handprints. Fresh handprints. As if someone had just pressed their hands against the wall moments before. Panic set in when one of them, Jenna, said she heard her name whispered directly in her ear. The others didn't hear it. They tried to leave, but the hallways seemed to twist. Every door they tried led them back to Ward 9. Time became distorted. The camera batteries died one by one. When they finally made it out at sunrise, they were shaking. Later, reviewing the footage, they noticed something chilling. In the background, a faint voice said, "Don't leave. You're one of us now." The hospital was demolished a year later, but the workers claimed that even during demolition, they could hear whispers coming from the rubble. Story 2. The silent wing of St. Hilaire, United Kingdom. St. Hilaire Hospital, just outside Manchester, had been a psychiatric institution since the 1950s. It was shut down after repeated reports of unethical treatments, patient disappearances, and strange occurrences. Over time, it was forgotten, except by those who still whispered about it in hushed tones. Adam, a young photographer drawn to abandoned places, decided to explore it years later. He entered through the old maternity wing. The silence was immediate and oppressive. Every step echoed through the empty hallways. Rusted wheelchairs leaned against walls. Beds were twisted and broken, and shattered glass crunched beneath his boots. On one wall, someone had scrawled in red paint, "Silence cures." As Adam moved deeper, he noticed a faint humming. A lullaby, soft but persistent, drifting from somewhere above. Step by step, he followed it, his camera shaking in his hand. The sound seemed to come from every direction at once, yet nowhere in particular. On the second floor, the humming stopped abruptly. One door was slightly ajar. Inside, a small hospital bed stood perfectly preserved, untouched by dust or decay. On the pillow lay a yellowed photograph of a nurse holding a baby, the edges curling with age. Then he saw it. The bed was no longer empty. A shadowy figure bent over the pillow, adjusting it as if tucking in an invisible child. Adam froze. The lullaby began again, louder, echoing off the walls, filling the hallway behind him with a chilling resonance that he tried to back away, but the shadow seemed to move closer, gliding silently toward him. Heart racing, Adam turned and ran, tripping over debris, falling into the darkness of the hall. He dropped the camera in his haste. Later, reviewing the footage, the final seconds were the most disturbing. The shadow moved deliberately toward the lens, its form indistinct, almost human, but wrong. Then the video cut to black. Locals claim that if you stand near the gates of St. Hilaire Hospital on a quiet night, you can still hear the faint sound of a lullaby drifting through the wind. And some say that if you linger too long, the shadows will follow you just beyond the edge of your vision. Story 3. The red light in room 304 Japan Hospital, on the outskirts of Kyoto, had been abandoned since a massive power failure in 1998. Rumors had circulated for years. Thrill seekers who entered never came back the same. Some vanished entirely. Locals avoided the place completely, crossing the street rather than walking near it. But Reiko, a student fascinated by paranormal phenomena, was determined to investigate. She convinced a friend to come along and brought her recorder, a flashlight, and extra batteries. The hospital was larger than it looked from the outside. Its walls were cracked, covered in moss, and the windows were shattered. Broken signage swayed in the wind, rattling like bones in the empty corridors as they stepped inside. The smell hit them first: mildew, rust, and something else, something metallic and faintly sweet, like dry blood. The air was thick, almost suffocating, and each step echoed loudly, betraying their presence in the stillness. The only light came from a faint red glow at the far end of the main corridor. Room 304. Reiko felt a shiver run down her spine, but curiosity pushed her forward. The closer they got, the stronger the sensation became that they were not alone. Shadows shifted along the walls, but when she pointed her flashlight, there was nothing. Inside room 304, chaos met silence. Medical charts were scattered across the floor, papers fluttering as though moved by invisible hands. One entry caught her eye. The patient's diagnosis was blank, but under status, someone had scrawled, "Still here." Her friend stumbled back, pale. He claimed he felt dizzy, his vision warping. Shapes moved in the red light, fleeting, dark forms at the edge of perception, vanishing whenever he tried to focus. The recorder, which Reiko had been holding close to her chest, picked up whispers repeating a single word in Japanese: "No crew, remain." The whispers grew louder, closer, as if surrounding them, coming from every direction at once. The red light pulsed like a heartbeat, slow, deliberate, and then it went out. The room plunged into complete darkness. Panic took over. They ran blindly through the hallways. Doors that should have led to exits were jammed or opened into walls. Footsteps followed them, soft, deliberate, and mismatched with their own. Reiko screamed, but the sound seemed swallowed by the building itself. When her friend looked back, she was gone. Only the recorder was found later, lying on the floor near room 304. The last few seconds of audio captured her breathing, fast and shallow, and a heartbeat, faint but unmistakable, echoing through the empty halls. Then a whisper, "Stay with us." Even now, decades later, locals claim that room 304 is alive. On quiet nights, a faint red light flickers through the broken windows, as if waiting for the next person brave or foolish enough to enter. And those who have dared say that sometimes, if you listen closely, you can still hear a heartbeat following you down the empty corridors. Some will tell you these are just stories, urban legends twisted by time. But for those who went inside, they know the truth. The whispers, the shadows, the red light, they don't disappear just because the hospital is empty. The walls remember, the halls remember, and sometimes they're still waiting for the next person to step inside. So, before you turn off this video, check your surroundings. Make sure the lights are still on. If you dare, comment below. Would you spend one night in an abandoned hospital? And don't forget to subscribe for more true horror stories from the darkest places on Earth. Sleep well if you can.